Industrial sugar refining exploded through the 17th and 18th centuries, carried by the brutal machinery of colonial trade. By the early 19th century, the average person in Britain was consuming about 5 kilograms of added sugar per year. By the mid-20th century, that number had climbed tenfold. Today, the average American consumes somewhere between 60 and 80 pounds of added sugar per year. The evolutionary break that never needed to evolve still does not exist. You are walking around with hardware calibrated for a world where sweet things were rare and precious, dropped without warning into a world that has made them infinite, engineered, and cheaper than water. That is not a character flaw. That is a mismatch. Researchers use a term for this: evolutionary discordance. It describes the gap between the environment your genes were shaped by and the environment you actually inhabit. Your genome is approximately 10,000 years behind your grocery store, and in the area of sugar, it is tens of millions of years behind. The neural circuits that reward you for seeking sweetness were calibrated for conditions that no longer exist, but they respond to a candy bar exactly as powerfully as they would have responded to a rare cluster of wild fruit found at the edge of a forest after 3 days without food. The food industry did not stumble onto this by accident. It was mapped, measured, and systematically exploited. Decades of sensory science research, much of it conducted inside major food companies and later exposed through public health investigations and internal documents, established what researchers now call the bliss point. The bliss point is the precise ratio of sugar, fat, and salt that maximizes the pleasure response while minimizing the sensation of fullness. It is engineered specifically to exploit your ancient reward circuitry. Howard Moskowitz, a food scientist who spent his career optimizing processed food products, helped develop and popularize this methodology. His work influenced the flavor architecture of dozens of products that now occupy entire aisles of every supermarket on Earth. Not randomly. Not intuitively. Mathematically, iteratively, with full knowledge of the neurological system being targeted. You are not failing to resist sugar. You are being precisely targeted by systems built to exploit a biological drive 25 million years in the making. But this does not mean you are helpless. It means you are human. And more importantly, it means you now understand the mechanism. When you know that the wanting circuit and the liking circuit are separate, that the craving will always feel stronger than the satisfaction, by design, you stop treating each moment of craving as a moral test. It is not a test. It is a broadcast. Your ancient nervous system sending signals it was built to send, into a world it was never designed to navigate. You can work with that. Eating a small amount of protein before you enter high craving states disrupts the dopamine anticipation loop at its source. Removing visual and environmental cues, the packaging on the counter, the bowl on the desk, the familiar crinkle of a wrapper, reduces the frequency at which the wanting circuit fires, because the trigger that launches the broadcast is no longer present. And maintaining stable blood sugar through consistent meals and adequate fiber reduces the physiological valleys that create the biological conditions in which craving becomes almost irresistible. None of this is magic. None of it is willpower in the traditional sense. It is system knowledge applied to a biological system, which is what you are, underneath all the layers of personality and intention and choice. You are a biological system shaped by pressures that ended thousands of years before you were born, running on ancient hardware, inside a world that ancient hardware never anticipated. Tonight, when you reach for something sweet, some part of your brain will do exactly what it was built to do across millions of years. It will fire. It will want. It will feel urgent and real and entirely personal, as if the craving is you. But you know what that signal is now. You know where it came from. You know it is older than your species, older than your language, older than your ability to feel guilty about it. And knowing that, really knowing it, changes the reach into something else entirely. It changes it from a reflex into a choice. The reach is still there. It was always going to be there. What is different now is that you are the one deciding what happens next.
If you like this video, please consider to like it and subscribe to our channel, and it will help us to create more content like this. Thank you.